NBC News Special Report. Here's Harry Smith.
Good day from New York. We are coming on the air with breaking news out of our nation's capital. President Trump just made his first remarks in a meeting with members of Congress on his major victory at the Supreme Court today, which upheld his travel ban on several Muslim-majority countries in a 5-4 decision. The ban prohibits most people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen from entering the U.S. In its ruling, the court rejected arguments that the travel ban amounted to unconstitutional religious discrimination. Let's listen to what the president had to say.
Thank you very much, everybody. You have probably all seen, otherwise you wouldn't be at the top of your game, the fact that today's Supreme Court ruling just coming out, a tremendous success, a tremendous victory for the American people and for our Constitution. This is a great victory for our Constitution. We have to be tough, and we have to be safe, and we have to be secure. At a minimum, we have to make sure that we vet people coming into the country. We know who's coming in. We know where they're coming from. We just have to know who's coming here. The ruling shows that all of the attacks from the media and the Democrat politicians are wrong, and they turned out to be very wrong. And what we're looking for as Republicans, I can tell you, is strong borders, no crime. What the Democrats are looking at is open borders, which will bring tremendous crime. It'll bring MS-13 and lots of others that we don't want to have in our country. It'll bring tremendous crime. So I will always be defending the sovereignty, the safety, and the security of the American people. That's why I was put here. We're discussing today the funding of the wall, which we very much need. We've started the wall. We're spending a lot of energy and a lot of time, and it started up in San Diego and other places. It's under construction now. We have $1.6 billion. But we're going to ask for an increase in wall spending so we can finish it quicker. It stops the drugs, it stops people that we don't want to have, and it gives us security and safety. And with that, I think we might just take a quick spin around the room, talk to a couple of the folks, and maybe, Senator, I'll ask you, Roy, do you want to say a couple of words about
President Trump at the White House just moments ago. NBC Justice correspondent Pete Williams is at the Supreme Court with some context right now. Pete, good afternoon.
2 points, Harry. First of all, the president said it's a great victory for the Constitution, but the court's ruling is based more on his power under the law, not the Constitution, but immigration law, immigration statutes to control immigration, who comes into the country. But the second point is, I think it's going to be very difficult for the administration to try to make the argument that this victory today, and it is a big victory, translates into the president's authority to control immigration at the border. Those raise entirely different statutory and constitutional questions. So while certainly the president is playing that part of it up, I think that's going to be a real stretch for the government to try to make that connection. 5-4 ruling, Chief Justice Roberts with all the court's conservatives. And what the court basically said is, we looked at whether any president could have done this. We then factored in the comments he made during the campaign about Muslims, and we think on balance he still had the power to do this, Harry.
And also, Pete, this is not the same travel ban that was enacted right after the president took office. This is a far different set of circumstances that the court decided to uphold.
In some ways it's similar. It covers 5 of the 7 original countries from that travel ban back when he first came into office. But the administration argued this one was different because they surveyed something like 200 countries and asked how well they control terrorism in their own borders and how accurate the information is when someone offers background information to get a visa. So for those reasons, the administration said this one is different, and the court said that made a difference too.
All right, Pete Williams at the Supreme Court. Let's go to the White House now and check in with Kristen Welker on the North Lawn. Kristen, good afternoon.
Harry, good afternoon. This is a major legal and political victory for President Trump. He campaigned on a vow to get tougher on national security. In fact, he called for banning all Muslims from entering the U.S. Ultimately, once he took office, he softened that language. He called this a travel ban. And so he is spiking the football today. Democrats lashing out, though. They essentially say this amounts to discrimination. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi calling it dangerous and disappointing. But make no mistake, Harry, this will energize his core supporters heading into the all-important midterm elections. In fact, Steve Bannon, one of his former top advisors who helped author all three versions of the travel ban, called this vindication. And of course, it comes against the backdrop President Trump fighting a fierce fight when it comes to his zero tolerance policy at the border. That has prompted family separations, which he has reversed, but he remains mired in that crisis. This bolsters him on all fronts, Harry.
Kristen Walker, thank you very much. We're going to have full coverage throughout the day on MSNBC and on NBCNews.com, and a complete wrap-up tonight on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For now, I'm Harry Smith, NBC News, New York.